Welcome everybody. My name is Jan Rather. I'm the Infrastructure Engagement Manager for DOMI, the Department of Mobility and Infrastructure for the City of Pittsburgh. We're here today to talk about the Maple Avenue Bridge Replacement Project. I think this is the closest we've ever held a meeting to the actual project site. It's just outside here. Want to say thanks to the Northside Partnership Project for hosting us here at the former McKnocker School. This is now the Community Resource Mall, for anybody not familiar. I'm just going to kind of go through our introduction slides and then hand it off to the project manager to talk about the project itself. So we're going to provide a description of proposed work on the Maple Avenue Bridge Replacement Project and answer questions and receive feedback on in-progress project details. We'll do a round of introductions. I'll go through the meeting norms, the safety overview, the Zoom overview for anybody online, and then I'll hand it off for the project purpose and need, proposed work, anticipated right-of-way impacts, detours, historic resources, anticipated schedule, preliminary engineering estimate, and then we'll have Q&A here in the room, and then there's also these boards that folks can come up and look at. This is the folks in the room and on the project team. I'm just going to ask folks on the project team to raise their hands, and folks that are presenting will have an opportunity to introduce themselves. So if you're on the project team, maybe raise your hands. All right, thank you, everybody. Got a lot of the project team in the room. So first and foremost is your physical and psychological safety. I'll have a slide about that in a second. Encourage you to be here to listen, to learn. That's so that you can take this information, share with your neighbors, with your communities. I don't think there's going to be a ton to disagree about a bridge, but if there is, we ask that you do so respectfully. Appreciate differences of opinion, whether that's with differences between the presenters or your neighbors. Be open to new ideas, and then be present. Again, we want you to take this information to be able to share it back. We're recording this, and it will be on the Engage page and YouTube to share with folks later if you have any questions. You all came in through the one entrance here. That's also the exit out through the left and the doors that folks came in. There's a first aid kit in the main office there, and I'll be the emergency contact in the event of emergency. So if somebody's suffering some sort of medical emergency, I'll be the one to call 911. We've also got police in the room, so I'm sure they'll be able to help us as well. If you're online, we ask that you remain muted and raise your hand to ask a question via Zoom, or use the chat function, and we'll take questions from the chat as well. When we get to the Q&A, we usually bounce between questions in the room and questions online. With that, I'm going to hand it off to Tom to talk about the purpose and need.
My name is Tom Tessero. I'm the city's project manager for this project, and we just wanted to give you a brief overview of the purpose and need of the project. The purpose is to create a sustainable crossing of Maple Avenue over North Charles Street. And the need was pretty obvious that we had some holes in the deck and a lot of corrosion on the beams and the diaphragms. So we want to create something that's safe and sustainable. So deterioration of the retaining walls was also an issue, sidewalk ramps, and if you're from the local area, you've seen this. So we just want to create a bridge that's going to last, and it's going to carry us into the next several years. So with that, I will hand it off to Alex, who is the consultant project manager doing the design.
All right, thanks, Tom. Alex Schmidt, project manager with Stantec Engineers, also the structure engineer for the project. So proposed improvements up on Maple Avenue, going across the bridge. It'll be a superstructure replacement, so a replacement of the beams and the deck, pretty much the entire top surface you see there going down. Only a part of the way down along the walls, so it's not a complete replacement of the bridge. We're also going to be placing a barrier along the curb line. This points too, doesn't it?
It should. I don't know if it'll work.
Oh, okay, yeah, it doesn't work. But along the curb lines, we're going to be placing crash-worthy barriers for more protection, which will also end up pinching in the sidewalks on the bridge just slightly, but still maintaining sidewalks all through the corridor here. The ornamental railings on the bridge and down all 4 of the retaining walls there, those will be refurbished or cleaned up, fixed as needed, repainted, and reinstalled, and with no change to roadway widths either. So now going down onto North Charles Street, looking east toward the Swindell Bridge here, we obviously see walls are deteriorated. These are going to be repaired, and along with the cap along all 4 wing walls, those will all be replaced to help serve to replace the railings on all 4 walls. The sidewalk on the left side here, that will be replaced as well. And I already touched upon that ornamental railing replacement there. So just a section view or a cut view of our bridge here, just showing what this will look like as you're going down Maple Avenue. Sidewalks on either side, barriers for improved safety along the curb lines there. And that's just an approach roadway typical section as well. Now down on North Charles Street, just showing the green will be repair work for the walls. Again, we're not replacing in entirety, those walls, just repairing them as needed. Also, it will be colored, repainted, a color to be chosen later, but that will be, to give it a nice finish overall. And then a replacement of the sidewalk and a little part of that curb line and a part of the roadway there as well. Anticipated right-of-way impacts, permanent required right-of-way, there are none. These are unofficial, by the way. Just so far in preliminary engineering, preliminary design, this is what we've come up with so far, and I can direct any questions afterward over to the board, where Jen and Jackie can help with any questions. Temporary construction easements during construction, again, unofficial, preliminary at this point, but we do anticipate 2 residential parcels. I'll show it on the next slide here, nice and big, and 1 commercial parcel as well. This may be necessary for construction activities. And here's in blue, those temporary construction easements. Again, just possible areas for a contractor to maneuver in, operate in, for construction workers to walk through, place some equipment as needed, really minimize their, on both residential parcels on the north side there. Well, no, I'm sorry. Residential, and commercial in the northwest quadrant there. And we're also just showing proposed work for replacing sidewalk, the replacement bridge in green, obviously, and repairs to the walls as well. Proposed vehicular detour for Maple Avenue. This is traffic on Maple Avenue. Just be rerouted shortly, short detour time of about 2 minutes using Legion Way and McIntyre Avenue onto Perrysville. And pedestrian detour is similar. This is, again, for pedestrians on Maple Avenue. If you're on one side of Maple Avenue and wanted to cross over to North Charles Street, this would be the proposed detour to use. Historic resources, section 106. The following historic resources is the building we're in right now, the McKnocker School. This is also protected by section 4F. I can give you it's a bit of a long paragraph there. I'll leave it up there for another second. So the proposed schedule here, to wrap up preliminary design into final design and then into construction is shown here. Spring 2025, that's when preliminary design began. And then here we are, February 11th, 2026 for the public meeting. Summer of this year, we'll be getting into and ultimately wrapping up final design and right-of-way acquisition if needed, with a fall 2027 date to advertise to contractors, and then shortly thereafter, that initial advertisement will be an anticipated start of construction, with an anticipated completion date of summer 2028. Preliminary construction estimates about $2.1 million. That's current cost, preliminary engineering. Not everything is nailed down at this point in design. As we go into final design, that'll be more accurately determined. But that's where it stands now. Construction funding, about 80% federal, 15% state, and 5% city. And with any questions, turn it back over to Jan.
Thanks. All right, so we'll move into questions. If you don't have questions now but want to reach out later, this is my email address, or you can go to the Engage PGH page. We've got a comment box there. I'm going to pass around the mic so that we can pick this up on Zoom. So if you have a question, I would just ask that you use this mic.
I got a question. Why would it take so long to complete the bridge? Is it because y'all got to go through the state for the fundings and all of that?
So again, the question was why it would take so long until construction starts and the project's completed. Is that okay?
I can take that. It's a long design process, typically a year and a half for preliminary engineering, and then final design is typically a year to 18 months, especially if there's property involved. And then there's a bidding process, and that's typically, 6 weeks for bidding, and then we have about 3 months to process paperwork, and then we can get started on construction. So nothing happens fast when you've got numerous players, basically. Yeah.
And Tom, if you want to use that one to answer, that works too.
Are there other bridges y'all planning on to work on after this, or no?
Yeah, there's a large list of bridge projects. Eric, do you want to answer that?
Sure, yeah. So the city has a lot of projects in the design phase right now. I don't have the exact number, but I think it's approaching 20. We've got a big workload right now. One just in the neighborhood, the Swindell Bridge, the big one here, that is in design also. It's a little further ahead in the process than this one right now. We're anticipating it'll go out, bids out to construction next year, earlier next year, sometime in 2027. And we are expecting to have a public meeting on that one probably in the first half of this year, maybe spring, summertime. So if you're interested.
I think y'all should, because a lot of people was afraid to cross that bridge because of what happened.
You're good.
A lot of people was afraid to cross this big bridge because of what happened with the bus. I think it was like 5, 6, 7 years ago when the bus collapsed on the bridge, and people, they was concerned about it. So, on the news, they started talking about that half of all these bridges need fixing and all that. I'm just wondering why why it took so long to have this meeting just to fix half of all these bridges that's out here.
Sure. Yeah, there is, a couple things I can say on that. The process to get the federal funding and get the agreements and do the design, it does take a long time, and it can feel slow, especially, we're in it every day, we know things are moving, but if you're not in the weeds, it's man, this is really taking a long time. So I certainly understand that. We're definitely trying to push them through as fast as we can because we know that there is a lot of need in our city. And we understand, certainly the Fern Hollow Bridge collapse a couple years back, I think it shook up everybody in the city. And our department has done a lot of work in the last 4 years now. It's been to one, increase our program to get more bridges fixed, but also to really double down on our inspection program and make sure that the bridges are open, they are safe. I know Swindell, for example, it looks a little rough. We got the stop sign in the middle of the bridge, but we are inspecting it repeatedly to make sure that it's staying safe in that condition. And, we don't hesitate to close a bridge if we have to. And we've done that over the last couple of years. We have closed some bridges. Luckily, these ones have not needed to be closed, but there's been other ones that we've had to ensure safety.
But y'all did close this bridge and just opened it back up after y'all that stop sign. That's why we left.
Yeah. They said that they
closed for a couple years, then recently just opened back up a few years back.
So we did have to have the bridge closed for a couple periods. We were doing some work on it when we had it closed, and we got some inspection results. So we've made some repairs on that bridge. We got some inspection results. The inspector called us up and said, hey, we got some certain concerns. We had to restrict things for a while. We got a contractor out there and made some repairs. And I think that's happened twice over the last couple of years where we've gotten, and once again, part of that is because we have a inspection cycle to make sure that we're getting out there periodically and checking on it to make sure it's staying safe.
Hold on, I'm gonna pass around the mic. Jacob, I just want to make sure we don't have any questions online yet. Okay, thanks. I'm just gonna ask you to use this mic so folks online can hear you.
I just wanted to ask, is the bridge open to buses again now?
The bridge can be used by buses. PRT has, I think they've made a decision to permanently detour buses over that bridge until the project happens. And that was, we didn't tell them they couldn't use it, but that's the decision they made, and they felt it was best for their operations.
Any other questions in the room?
Yeah.
Do you have a question? I couldn't tell if you were raising your hand or not. Okay, sorry. Any other questions here or online, Jacob?
Negative, not online.
Okay. Another question here. Yep.
I just came in, so I didn't know if you already discussed the bypass that goes to the bridge, how the concrete and everything is crumbling,
The walls,
the walls of, the walkway, that right there.
yes. That is, do you want to handle it, Alex?
Sure, I can.
Since you're the one designing it, I'll let you.
Sorry, you're just concerned about the walls and how they're,
Yeah, and, like right under that overpass, those bricks and things are starting to fall, right where that bridge part is, yes.
okay. Bricks underneath, like from the walls, okay. Chunks of concrete? Okay.
When you want, we're going to repair it.
So all that's going to be repaired. All of it's going to be repaired, including the part underneath the bridge, underneath the overpass. It was just inspected back in October. They deemed it to still be safe. No additional no worsening of that concrete that makes anybody concerned right now. But that's why we're still repairing it. That's why we're still taking measures to fix things. Yeah.
And yeah, this diagram shows those walls as part of the construction. Any other questions? All right. If you have questions after the meeting, the project team's here. You can come up and look at the boards. Otherwise, you can ask questions on Engage PGH. This recording, we'll get it up on YouTube and on the Engage page in the next couple of days. So if you have neighbors who couldn't make it or community members who couldn't make it but may be interested in this, we encourage you to share it out later. Thank you again all for coming. Thank you to Northside Partnership Project for hosting us again. And hope you all have a good night and get home safe. Thanks.